Hi, I just finished doing my sadhana, and right after finishing it, I got this thought that only after losing control we gain it. Currently, I'm a little bit occupied, so pardon me for not making the eye contact all the time today. So, uh, what I realized that at the end, we are all control addicts. Our calendar, our diet, our kids' grades, our 5-year plans, somebody else's life. We try to control all of it. As much as we can, we try to control every dynamics of our life, everything around us. And when we kind of lose this control, we think that we are we are losing something out of our life and not just the control itself. We grip life so hard, we grip life so tightly. But here's the paradox that ancient yogis knew you can only take control when you lose it. And that's true. And you know, uh, there is a concept of surrender. In yogic concept, there is this one thing that is surrender. Usually, in our general day to day life, we think that surrender is some kind of weakness. But it's the highest power, it's the highest form of strength that one can have, or at least develop the skill with time, with practice. And letting go might be the one thing that finally gets you what you have been chasing. It's not always that if you keep chasing it you will get it. Sometimes we have to let it go to finally let it come to us. And to give one analogy, I would like to make you think that think of your mind like a fist around sand. The tighter we squeeze for certainty to hold that sand, the faster life slips through. It is the same thing. And the plans uh, get ruined all the time, no matter how meticulously we plan on things. Suppose we plan off a vacation and then it rains the same day. Then what next? It gets very inconvenient, right? We prepare for the interview, and sometimes it turns out that the company hires internally, and that effort, that trying to control the things, the situation, the narrative, all goes in vain. And this is how I can at least make you understand that control is merely an illusion that sells us anxiety. Control is not real at all. Just count off all the things that you have tried to control and they have actually worked versus the kind of things that have slipped through your control and they worked out the way things were supposed to happen. And neuroscience backs this. The brain burns 20% of our energy. It really does. The most energy is brain is what like brain is the organ that takes most of the energy, and most of it we use for worrying about the outcomes that we cannot even influence. Forget about controlling them altogether. So we are exhausted, not from doing but from controlling. We are not doing things, we are trying to control it. So the more we micromanage life, the more life manages you. The more we try to take control of things, the more things get out of our hands eventually. And what happens next? The blood pressure rises. We lose our sleep, we lose our appetite, and what not. Even our relationships, we lose out on that also. And they pay the tax of control. So, what can be the alternative of controlling? Yoga has a word for this: Ishvara Pranidhana. It means that we surrender to the universal flow. We surrender to the source that everything is coming out from. We surrender to God and let things be. That is Ishwar Pranidhan. And it's the fifth niyama. If you talk about the Ashtanga path, it is the fifth niyama. One of the core disciplines of a yogic life. But surrender doesn't mean that you are going to give up. It is very meticulously leaving things in the hands of gods while doing your own dharma and karma. It means giving over your power to the higher version of yourself, or the god, or the universe, whatever you name it. And Krishna in Mahabharata told Arjun when he was uh, giving that 18th chapter lecture to Arjun, that karmanya vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. It means that you have control only over your action and never over the results. All you can do is perform your actions. Whatever skills, whatever other things that you have gained, you have uh, built through the experiences of life, you have only control over that and not on the outcome that comes as the consequence of our action. That is Ishwar Pranidhan, that is surrendering. And a very good example would be that farmers control only tilling, sowing, watering, taking care of their plants so that insects and the bugs do not harm them. This is all that he can control, but he cannot control rain for the crops to grow enough so that he can further sell it, and even we ultimately get uh, our nutrition or whatsoever. But he cannot control over what is beyond his capacity. He can only perform what is within his limits, within her limits. That's it. That's all they can do. And this is a perfect example of how we can understand that surrender is doing our 100% and releasing the outcome, not trying to control the outcome. Suppose if farmer starts to uh, control over the rain, over the wind, over the land, over everything, then perhaps how things have started to happen. The organic farming that used to give us most naturally most nutrients, now out of control, the green revolution and all kind of those things that have happened, they have paid the tax. We have paid that tax for controlling things. Soil has lost its capacity to give the naturally the nutrients that would we would get out of it. All those chemicals, pesticides, and all those things have ruined the fertility of the soil itself. And it has happened only due to trying to over control things. To an extent, it is good, it is acceptable, unless it harms, unless it starts to harm other things. So, when we paddle upstream our whole life, we are tired and still. When we surrender to the river, of life, we realize that we were the river all along. We were the flow. It was all the process, and we were the process. That was it. And losing control of the destination, taking control of our stroke, that's what Ishvara Pranidhana is. Not passivity, but power without anxiety. And so, how do we lose control without becoming lazy? How do we do that? The first thing is that we can control our effort and surrender the results. That is it. If there is an exam that we have to appear, if there is an interview that we have to appear, then study for it, prepare for it, but surrender the score, surrender the acceptance letter that might or might not come to you. Second is controlling our boundaries, surrendering people's reaction to what we do, what we are, whatever. Say no with love, with acceptance that this is your boundary. Others may or may not understand it, but this is what you follow. That is your dharma and karma. You do not control if they get upset or whatsoever. Arguments on and all those other things are different ball game, but that is not within your control, and you have to let it go. You have to let go of their reactions, whether they get upset or not, whether they get happy or not with your boundaries. And controlling our breath, surrendering our thoughts. In meditation we don't try to control our mind. If anybody, or if in any way and due to any other influence you have learned that in meditation you have to control your mind, you have learned a very wrong thing. That is not it. We do not control mind ever. Mind is just like, you cannot control it. You just can't. We try to control our returning to the flow of breath. That is all we can do. And just like a parent cannot control if their child falls, but they can control if they teach them how to get up, or if the child has really messed up, then a parent can uh, hold him and get him back to whatever the child was doing, or if they are hurt, or take care of the things later, whatever is needed. It is just like that in meditation. Let the mind wander like clouds coming and going. But we have to take care of the breath. That is meditation, and that is a kind of surrender and letting go that we can practically try in our on our own. And even an artist cannot control if the world will really love their art. But what they have in control is come up on the stage, come up on the canvas, come up on the music instrument, or whatsoever they are so good at. Eventually we lose control of the waves, and we have to take control of the surfing. That is it. And this is it about controlling and letting go. And here's the magic. When you truly surrender, two things happen. First, you become present. You are in the moment. Anxiety then leaves, anxiety then leaves you. Because what we try to control the future, we try to predict the future with our actions, and whatsoever manipulation we try to do in the present moment, thinking of future, which is not letting go, which is not surrendering. It is trying to control the narrative of the future while being in the present moment. And anxiety lives in future control. Peace lives in present moment, in your present actions. And second thing that happens is that life starts eventually working for you and not against you, because life is a flow. And just like I said a few minutes earlier, that you are the flow too. You both align, life and you, life and us, we both align. And we didn't control meeting our partner, meeting our friends, meeting our parents, meeting our kids. We only controlled our presence where we would meet them, you know. And we don't control our promotion, we can only control our skill, our craft, our work. That is it. And the yogis say, when the ego dissolves, the real self appears. You have to dissolve your ego, which is controlling. And self, what we think is just our flesh and bones and mind, it is much larger than what we can intellectually even imagine. That self appears when ego dissolves. And our job is not to control the universe, our job is just to align with it. That's it. And alignment then feels like a flow, like ease, like finally breathing. No, we cannot all the time control our breath. Like we cannot hold our breath for 2 or 3 or 7 minutes straight. Eventually, the body will demand that oxygen, and then we understand that no, we cannot finally control even our own body. Even that part of action that our body performs, that the very us, the very me who performs this action, I cannot even control that. That is where we understand that things are not in our control, and we are just the process. This is it. So, here's a 10-second practice that I want you to do. It is just 10 seconds, not more, okay? Just be wherever you are. Try to come back to your breath, and if you're holding your mobile or whatsoever, you can at least close your eyes. Just do it as I say, alright? No cheating. Close your eyes, come back to your breath, and as you inhale, say in your mind, I do my part. And as you exhale, say in your mind, I release the rest. Try it now. Just try it. As you inhale, just say in your mind, I do my part. And with exhaling, just say, I release the rest. That is it. That is it. And open your eyes if you genuinely tried it. So, try it more often, alright? It is just a 10-second exercise. Whenever you are nervous, anxious, trying to control things, just try this exercise, and with time and with practice, you will understand what really is Ishvara Pranidhana, what really is letting go of control to control. Finally, take control. What really is surrender and not giving up. Lose control of the timeline, take control of the today, of this moment. Lose control of people's opinion of what they say, and take control of your integrity. That's it. Lose control of the outcome and take control of your actions. That is it. Because the truth is, the moment you surrender, you are no longer a prisoner in life. You are no longer chained. You are no longer encased, you are the flow. You become the flow, you become the process itself. And process doesn't worry, process doesn't try to control, it just exists actively. It just exists actively. And if this resonated, comment I release below. And now go lose control and watch what you finally gain.